Now, knowing you, I know that you're aware of the things that people are saying. You're moving up in two-weight classes. You're the smaller man. Whatever you do, Terence Crawford, don't exchange against them. What do you feel you have to do?
Be myself. I'm 41-0 for.
Was undefeated for the last half of his career.
For more than 20 years, fans believed Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record could never be surpassed. He was the phantom inside the ropes, a defensive wizard who made legends look ordinary. But after one monumental night, a single explosive statement from the only man to fight both of them threatened to shake that entire pedestal. The question was no longer simply about who was greater. It became about whether Mayweather's whole era had just been eclipsed. The storm erupted the second Terence Crawford's arm was raised after a dominant win over Canelo Alvarez, a victory many had thought impossible.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight.
The biggest shock, however, arrived in the press conference. Asked to compare Crawford with his former opponent Floyd Mayweather, Canelo gave his response without hesitation while the world's media hung on his word.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Coming from the lone fighter alive who has shared the ring with both men, this wasn't a casual remark. It was a bombshell that rattled boxing to its core. That sentence alone ignited a debate that had been brewing for years, soon pulling in a powerful voice. Stephen A. Smith, watching closely, was instantly drawn in. Like many, he expected Crawford to stay on the outside, use his slick skills, and outbox the bigger, stronger man. But that's not what unfolded.
Well, I appreciate Crawford making my prediction come through. Coming into the fight, I had him winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch. And as long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight, he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took some body shots to the liver, took some headshots, exchanged, and still ended up winning this fight. I thought from the 8th round on, he just put on a boxing clinic. And I got to give credit where credit is due. Crawford deserved to win the fight.
Instead, Crawford stood his ground and went toe-to-toe with Canelo, showing not only technique but courage. Smith admitted, "What I didn't expect was for him to stay inside, exchange, and survive. And Crawford did it more than once. That's why," Smith insisted, "he deserved enormous credit. He even broke the bout down, scoring it 5 rounds to 4 for Crawford after 9 before Crawford dominated the last 3 rounds in clinical fashion. He absorbed Canelo's shots and fired back, thriving in moments where smaller fighters usually collapse.
Crawford is a special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior boxer in the ring. He finds a way to win. No matter who he's going up against, no matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was the better man. And he's not one who believes that just a knockout does that. He likes outboxing you and showing you that his skill level is superior to yours. And he showed it tonight.
Stephen A. labeled it a masterclass. Yet despite the brilliance, he wasn't ready to dethrone the king just yet, because he remembered another kind of genius, a shadow in the ring that Crawford, for all his bravery, was not.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much, and literally walked in the ring and said, I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
This was the line Smith drew, making the vital distinction that reshaped the debate. He reminded everyone that Floyd Mayweather was a defensive riddle, a magician who built victories on not being hit. With hands that were fragile and damaged through the back half of his career, Floyd knew he couldn't depend on knockouts. This wasn't speculation. It was well documented.
Floyd Mayweather looks me in my face and he says, I'm going to take him out about the 8th or 9th round. And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this? He said, Stephen A., he's a UFC fighter. He said, and he's a striker. He's accustomed to coming at you and throwing punches. What he's not accustomed to doing is punching while he's throwing backwards, while he's moving backwards and pushing you off of him. He says, I'm going to walk right into him and stay in his chest. He's going to have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's going to be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not going to have any legs. He's going to be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round. And that is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did. He told me exactly what he was going to do, and he did it.
Mayweather himself admitted, my hands are very brittle, even revealing that before facing Conor McGregor, he couldn't spar for a month due to injury.
You hurt your hand? Huh? I thought you hurt your hand. That's myself. Okay. All right. Relax, baby. The job is done. All right. Put in a bucket of ice, man. I'll get a bucket of ice. Kill him.
I'm saying Shane hit me with a hell of a shot. Okay. Actually, 2 shots.
Oh, okay.
But even in that particular round, what I said to Shane was this. I was like,
you dead self said something to him when you grabbed him.
I said, you gotta kill me.
Oh shit. I wasn't ready, Floyd.
I said that was a good one. I said that was a good one, but you gotta kill me.
Wow.
So you gotta kill me. And did I mean I'm not gonna lie, I meant it.
Adding to the controversy, reports long suggested that in his later years, Mayweather fought almost exclusively in Las Vegas, one of the few commissions allowing numbing injections like xylocaine for hand pain. His hand troubles dictated where and how he fought, shaping the style that made him untouchable.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twisted. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters that he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
Trainer Greg Hackett backed this view, arguing that the Floyd who dismantled Canelo was a complete, polished fighter, a stark contrast to Crawford's rougher, riskier style.
I can't say he capping. I can't, because I don't know what he felt. But when I heard that, what I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe. But I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he's been doing and all that, trust me, it's some wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what it gives it that air.
I also think you got to remember when you talking about a Mexican fighter, they big on punishment. He might also feel Crawford punches harder than Floyd and took more chances than Floyd took. Floyd really was super speed that night. Everything speed, and it irritated Canelo because Canelo couldn't do what he wanted to do, and he looked nothing like himself. like I said, I think it was just times where Canelo felt like, damn, I could have had him. With Floyd, I think he felt like paralyzed. Like, damn, I can't catch this motherfucker. He too fast. But with Crawford, I felt like he maybe was saying, damn, I could have, if I would have threw this, or if I would have did that. You know what I mean? Because it was times Crawford sat there and caught a punch and countered back. You know what I'm saying? He let Canelo throw, like, go ahead, throw your shit. He caught that shit, boom, and come right back with the hook. The same shot he caught Earl with. He was touching Canelo with some of that same shit, man. And it was just like, and it was times where Crawford was imposing himself on Canelo. He was stepping to Canelo at times. He didn't do it the whole fight, but I'm just saying it was times he stepped to him. Floyd did too, but Floyd just was so fast, so much faster, and the education was like totally different. Like when Canelo fought Floyd, Canelo was in middle school. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Floyd by that time was already a Harvard graduate. You know what I'm saying? So
in Stephen A. Smith's very words,
I can't say that. I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring and put on masterful performances because he was so superior, skill-wise and defensively. You can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often because you couldn't hit him. That's the difference.
Crawford absorbed punishment from Canelo. He proved toughness and chin. But for Stephen A., the need to show that grit was exactly what separated him from Floyd. Before the back and forth grew hotter, many pointed to the simplest reality. These men belonged to different times. This debate wasn't purely about talent. It was about eras. Crawford himself acknowledged it respectfully, saying, Floyd is the best fighter in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in mine.
He just got something that I want.
And it's not just the title, it's what else?
It's everything. He got everything. And I'm coming to get it.
When you beat him, you'll have everything.
That's right.
That perspective added nuance. Greatness isn't a single ladder. It belongs to the period of fighter rules. The comparison becomes trickier when age enters the picture. Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, reminded fans that Floyd was already 36, past his prime, when he outclassed a young Canelo. That detail makes comparing a Pete Crawford against a seasoned Alvarez.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime when you at 36.
So the question becomes not who wins head-to-head, but two champions who reign supreme in distinct chapters of boxing history.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who would win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd would win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah,
yes.
he's
a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in
but
that
the funny thing about it is Terence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got to pioneer it, right? Yeah, you got to.
There's an OG you can't out-figure out somewhere, and I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't out-figure out.
Still, one fact can't be denied. Terence Crawford has secured an achievement on his resume that Floyd Mayweather never managed to touch.